This is episode 1 of TrouperCast, your one-stop shop on all things education and the arts. I am Jeremy Solomon, and with me today is Asmita Das. Asmita is a good friend whom I've worked with, and I've personally known her for close to 5 years now. She works in the field of education, and even though not inside the classroom, I'd agree she is one of the more important vertebrae in the backbone that keeps a school running. Join us as we discuss growing up, theatre and dance, education, and the human spices in the recipes of life. Hey Asmita, what's up? How's life?
I'm doing great. Life is also going great. Pandemic, lockdown, COVID. Yeah. What next? Delta.
I know, yeah. And there's so much going on in the world right now, and I am really happy and really thankful for you being on this podcast with me, and I'm looking forward to having an amazing conversation with you.
Thank you so much for inviting me and making me your first guest. But thank you so much.
All right, awesome, cool. So, before we go into anything else, there's one thing that I'm really looking to start this conversation with, and that is simply to ask you, where are you right now?
Oh, yeah, I'm in my car.
You're in your car. What are you doing in
Yeah.
your car, Asmita?
So thing is, my whole family is back, and it's not that huge, spacious house. To be very honest, and I want, and podcasts and videocasts are something where you need silence around you. So what I decided, ki why not use my own car for that?
Yeah,
So
I know,
here
yeah.
am
And you know what? We will talk a little bit about your podcast a little further on. And I'm going to do a little shout out now and later on. If you haven't heard about it, go listen to the Human Spices podcast. It is a really good space to understand different people and the things going on around us. But I also want to draw your attention to Asmita doing this in the car, which only goes to show that which only goes to show that right now we just have to make do with what we have, and we may
I.
not be capable.
Exactly.
Yes, we may not be capable of doing a lot right now, but with whatever we have, we need to do the best that we can.
Yes.
And right.
In fact, Jeremy, I would like to say, this is something which I have realized ki even if you don't have a proper place to do your podcast, you will somehow or the other find something and complete your stuff. So this is what I've realized ki when I got this car, I didn't even think about using this as my recording studio. And since the whole I just properly close everything, and when I listen to the recording stuff, trust me, it sounds like I'm in a recording studio. So yeah, my car is my recording studio now.
Right, right. So listening to you, I like to say when the times get tough, you think outside the box and think inside the car. So maybe that's what we need to do.
That was a nice one, man. That
Right,
was
right.
really a nice one.
Right, right. So yeah, going off of that, I also want to say that even I am at home, I'm in my bedroom with a little setup that I have over here. And the idea for this podcast actually came about, well, the thought of starting a podcast actually came about when you started your podcast and you started your journey as a podcaster. And since then, it's been over a year and we are finally doing this. And I am saying this because while you were telling me a little something a few seconds ago, I actually heard a vehicle honk in the background.
Yeah.
And that's just something that we have to deal with. That's just something we have to live with. I mean,
Yes.
over here, who knows?
Thank.
Maybe the electricity might go out. You might hear the train passing in the distance. But I think those sort of things sometimes can add a little bit of an artistic value to what we're doing, right?
Basically, giving the natural effect.
Giving the natural effect, right? So as you know, TrouperSphere and a lot that TrouperSphere does is in the field of theater. So in that spirit, I'd like to start this podcast by playing a little game with you. Are you up for that?
Wow, okay. You didn't tell me about this, but okay, sure. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's fun. It's fun. It's just a lot of fun. And
All right.
because we're talking a lot about education and things like that, I want to take us back to school. And not just take
Sure,
us back to
sure.
school, I want to take us back to a pre-nursery or a K1 or K2 or one of those really, really, really small classes. Yeah?
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah?
please,
Yeah?
please take me.
Yes, yes. So, a lot about theater, and I know a lot about what the Human Spices does is also about telling stories. So, that is what I want for the two of us to do right now. So, there is this
Right.
very common, familiar game that people play, which is a story builder game, where you say one sentence and I say the next sentence to continue that story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
we both say we exchange one sentence each and together build a story. Can we do that?
Wow, this is nice. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Sure.
But I want to add a little catch to this. Remember, I said I'm going to take you back to our school days?
Yeah.
Each sentence needs to be said in the order of the alphabet. So, for example, if I'm saying the first sentence, I need to start with the letter A. If you're saying the second sentence, you need to start with the letter B. If I'm saying the third sentence, I need to start with the letter C, and so on and so forth till we reach the last letter in the alphabet.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so you start with A, go ahead with B, C, D, E, F, like that, right?
Yes, yes. So we go back and
Sure.
forth. A, B, C, D, you and me, you
Done,
and
done.
me.
Got it.
Yeah?
Got it.
All
Yes.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Sure.
what we're going to do just to make this a little more interesting, I'm going to
Hmm.
ask you to give me a random occupation.
Okay, okay. All right.
Give me. You can
Right
tell
now,
it that. Yeah, right now.
farmer,
A farmer, and I'm going to ask you to give me a random location that is a contrast to the occupation.
Bangalore,
A farmer in Bangalore, and for the sake of this being super fun and super exciting, let's take it in the direction of being super fun and super exciting. All right.
right?
So you and I are now farmers in Bangalore. That is our situation and location.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so we can either have a conversation or we can tell a story around it. And since you are the guest over here, I'm going to give you the honor of starting first.
Okay. Okay. So, what should I say right now?
You say the first sentence to the story. Either you can tell it as a story, and if
Ah,
you
okay.
choose to go as a story, we'll go as a story. Or if you choose to have a conversation with me as another farmer, we can do that as well. But you start your sentence with the letter A.
Hey, farmer, how have you been doing?
Been better.
Okay. Why do you sound
Your third sentence is with the letter C. So you said A, I said B. So your third sentence needs to be the letter C. Then I will say
Okay,
it
okay,
D.
okay,
So we go
okay.
with the alphabet.
Ah,
So do you want to
wow,
start
this
from the
is
top?
very done, done. Yes, yes,
Yeah, go
yes,
ahead,
from
go
the top,
ahead,
yes.
go ahead.
Hey, farmer, how have you been doing?
Been better.
Hmm. Uh, could you explain more about it?
Don't really know what to think about right now, but I can try.
Uh, explain. Go ahead.
Food. That's the main problem right now. Food.
Goodness. What has happened about that? What about that?
High and low, wherever you look, you see food, but then it's so difficult for me to get our food out there, what you and I are doing.
I understand. I absolutely understand. So, how have you been going ahead with this situation?
Just thinking about what to do, I think you and I need to storm the capital.
Kolkata. Did you try that city?
Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I am talking about the Hunger Games. Everyone is hungry around us because of the lack of food and the necessity for food as well.
Man, that's so true. That's very true. Yeah. So how is your family tackling this situation?
Nowhere we can go right now. Just always thinking about what to do.
Oh God, I don't really know what to say or what to exactly think about it. But hey, don't worry. There will be one or the other solution to this.
Please. Solution, you think we're going to find a solution now? What we need to do is we need to bring in the clowns.
Quick thinking is also a possibility where we can quickly start thinking about some possible situation which we can curb the problems that you as a farmer and I as an urbaner, can work on it.
Hmm. Rest assured, maybe one day we will be able to get our things done.
Surely, why not? I have proper belief on. I might not know much about politics, but yes, hard work, a bit of a strategy, planning, and teamwork is what can help us go through this problem.
That is exactly what we need right now.
Understanding even also is a part of uh, uh, the work culture that I was mentioning about. What do you think?
Very good, very good. We need more people like you in the world.
Wow, so we really think on a very common platform, on a very we have a common understanding. So do you really have any plans about it? Like how would you want to uh, you know uh, uh, plan and strategize these problems that you and I both are facing?
Xylophone. I can't find my xylophone. If I had my xylophone with me, maybe I can sing a song about it.
Yay! This is something. Xylophone. You wanna make a music on your strategies and plans via xylophone? That is very interesting, I must say.
Zoom, we shall go away like that.
Oh my god! Oh my god, this is amazing!
The
I've
last
never done this.
yeah, the last few letters are always the most difficult.
I know, and especially the one with Q.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, yes. So generally what I
Yeah.
say is when we do this in classrooms with the kids or whatever, whenever it comes to the difficult words, we give them the opportunity to do the sounds and not necessarily
Hmm.
just a starting letter. But we did
Hmm.
it either way, which is pretty decent, I think. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, you literally got me back to my nursery, to my grade one, and when I actually started work, and when we actually started working together, you have a lot of ideas, Jeremy, which. And I must say this, I must mention this because of this guy, he pushed me into barking dogs. Sorry, he pushed me into theater. That's when I got to know about Barking Dogs production, and that's how I got into theater as well. Damn.
That's awesome. And I remember there were few times that we would also go and be part of workshops and watch plays together, and that was a lot of fun
Yeah.
back when things were actually opened up.
I know. It's be it Ranga Shankara, be it Rangasthala, be it our own school, be it our own theater place, be it our
Yes,
own school stage, be it our that place
Shunya,
called Atagalata, Shunya.
Atagalata,
Yes, Shunya.
Shunya.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
you took me to Shunya. Yes.
Right, right.
Wow.
But there's one thing that I'll never forget about Asmita,
Hmm.
and that is
Yeah.
we were doing an event once in Kamnali, at a little cafe. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I will never forget that
Yeah,
day.
yeah, we were doing a little event at Kamnali, and this is called Artistic Happenings, which is a platform
Yeah.
for children to express themselves in different types of art forms. And I'm not going to get into that a lot, but Human Spices were one of the collaborators in organizing
Hmm.
this event, partners rather.
Yeah.
And it was in the evening, and Asmita had said that she would come. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and Asmita's not coming, and it already started. And halfway through, I don't know if I got a call or a message, and she's like, I'm almost there, I'm coming, I don't know. And she's like panting.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I called you. I remember, Jeremy. I okay. So I'll tell you my part of the story. Okay, in a very
right,
short, gist manner.
right.
So I came out of my previous school where I was working, and I went for a very undecided interview. Okay, so this lady calls me and says that, hey, we have a profile open, so would you like to look into it? I said, yeah, sure. And that and since I had a lot of time with me, so I thought, okay, let me just quickly go around and talk about myself, because I love giving interviews. Not that I want to know what this company is offering, but I wanted to know how I am in the market, how the market is seeing a candidate from their own point of view, so that I know where all to work on myself, right? Apart from that, also marketing yourself, talking about yourself, actually makes you so much aware about your own skill sets, about your own abilities, that what all you can offer to a person or to a company, right? So right after that, which actually wrapped up in, I think, within half an hour, and then I put this yeah, so I went to that place by my cycle, right? And this cycle I got, there's another huge story behind that. I'll tell you some other time. But this cycle took me from BTM to I think Jakasandra. From Jakasandra, that's where the whole thing started, of going to Kamanahalli. Now on Google it showed 32 kilometers one way, and there were two paths. There were two routes. One route was via Marthalli, and one route was via I don't remember now, but there was oh yeah. Okay, I don't remember now. Let it be. So yeah. The other route was via, I think, Kormangla or something like that. Okay, I don't remember now, but Marthali was the one that I took, since it's a huge one, and Marthali route was the longest one. I'm like, theek hai, I have so much time with me, I'll go. Yeah, it will just take 1 hour, and 1 hour is nothing for me. I forgot that I was wearing a kurta, not even a cycling suit, or like, what you say as jersey, and the pants and stuff. I was wearing proper kurta, proper leggings, with my school bag on my back, and I'm riding. I kept on riding, and I see that this 1 hour is not becoming 45 minutes. It is just 1 hour only. Okay, because of the inclination. I mean, most of the journey was into inclination only. However, I realized on that journey I slept off even. Can you imagine, Jeremy? I'm riding the cycle on the way, on the main road. I'm sleeping. Riding. And hello?
Yeah, yeah, tell me.
Yeah. And then I think I crossed HAL, and there's this HAL ka wo campus ka outside. that's where I gave up. I almost gave up. I sat on the floor, and that's when I think I called you. I was crying. I was literally panting. I was sweating. I'm crazy. And then I called you. I said, Jeremy, I'm not able to do it. I can't. I can't. This is too much for me. I didn't realize what I was getting into. And you said, no, no worries, Macha. You will do it. You can do it. If you can come up to this much, you can do the other part. This is nothing for you. I'm like, yeah, that's easier said done.
True.
you know, and I so wanted to take an auto. I so wanted to take a cab or something. But what I realized is, if I would have taken that, what did I gain? I gained nothing. I mean, the whole um mehnat that I did going from BTM till HAL, with all that inclination, declination, whatever came on my way, I kept on going. But if I could have taken the shortcut, yes, it would have saved a lot of my time and my effort. But that experience I will never forget till date, till I die, because that was something which actually made me realize my strength, yes, my weakness as well. But I got to know more about myself, and thank you for that journey. Actually,
You're welcome, and I will never forget Aspita coming to that event on her cycle,
panting.
panting. And honestly,
Yeah,
every time she tells me this story, I always think that is some crazy distance to ride. But I also
yeah,
want
man.
to talk to you a little bit about your involvement with the cycling community. And
Sure, sure.
can you touch a little bit on that, and also touch a little bit on maybe the health aspects of it now that we're in a pandemic and everyone is cooped up at home as well?
Yes. So I would not like to endorse myself as a fitness person because I'm not fit anymore now. But yes, cycling has changed my life in a lot of manner. Number one, it got me out of my lazy routine. It got me out of my whole, this kind of a thing that, oh, I'm good for nothing. I'm doing nothing apart from work, apart from coming from work and just watching my Netflix or YouTube or any other videos, whatever was available. But what I realized is in 2018, I mean, the whole cycling thing started. I'll just give it a gist what exactly happened. 2018, I left my job. I left Oak Ridge, and that's when I started looking for. Uh, that's when I started looking for something to do, as in maybe like getting into a gym, or getting into Zumba, or doing something with my body, because I was actually putting on a lot of weight. And I'm a foodie person, so I can't really complain about it. But 2018 was the time when I started looking for rented cycles, where I can, rent a cycle. I mean, where I can get a cycle on rent and test my waters if I really would want to go ahead with this activity. However, what changed was this one man who got in touch with me because I had put it on Facebook on a few pages, and that's how this guy from nowhere um, uh, DMs me and says, hey, I'm leaving for Canada or Cambodia, something he said. And I have this cycle with me, and since I have been following your posts since I think like 2 to 3 days, and I've been seeing that you are genuinely looking for a cycle. I have one with me, which I have got it like I think 3 months ago, but I've hardly used. It's as brand new as it can be. So why don't you just check it out? I said, sure. So what is the price of that? Because all the people apart from him who had contacted me for, for an exchange of their old cycle, because I was ready to do that. He said, no, nothing. It's just a giveaway. Ah, wait. How can it be
Wow.
a giveaway? I thought, okay, this is a scam. This is a something fraud. This is a trap. No, not going. Bulata hai to jane ka nahi. There is something like that. So I'm like, okay. Then I thought, no, no, no. This is very not a great idea. Do not get into this trap. Free ka mal. I mean, it's not genuine. But this guy was actually genuine and as real as it can be, because I remember it was my birthday, 27th May, when me and my friends went to have a Zumba session, and right after that we went for a tiffin break, as in idli and vada sambar. And this guy messages me on Facebook. We still haven't shared our phone numbers yet. So he messages me, hey, I'm at home since today's a Sunday, so why don't you just come over and check out the cycle. I said, sure. I just messaged and sure, I'll let you know. And then I told my friend Alam, and she literally bought a pepper spray. She literally bought a pepper spray, and we went. We kept it inside our pockets, and we went with all, like, Bhagwan Bharose. But this guy was really genuine. He was leaving for Cambodia or Canada, I think, I'm not sure. So, and I get to see the bike, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I get it. And I say, are you sure you don't want anything for this? I mean, you might have bought it, right? I mean, see, this is the most basic cycle I had bought, just to do something with this, just to ride it. But somehow I didn't really feel like riding, because I already have this R17, some fancy motorbike that he had. So he was busy with that. So hence this one was just lying over there. So that's when I'm like, okay, are you sure? Are you real? And then, yeah, I am real properly. And that's the day the whole thing of mine changed. I started getting into cycle rides, morning rides. I got into WhatsApp groups of cyclists. So I know Go Green, Go Green, Go Cycling community. I am with two wheels and a handlebar community. So a lot of things, I have learned. I have gotten into country rides. I have gotten into, from my house to Cubbon Park. I have got. Oh, by the way, this is huge for me. I am a Guinness World Record participant, and I have a certificate with me. I have a medal of that, only because of cycling. So cycling has actually given me, Guinness World Record ka certificate and medal.
Right, right. Can you tell
Yes.
us what the record is?
Yes, please. So the record was the event called Cyclothon was conducted by um, uh, Hubbali uh, Hubbali Bicycle Ride Club. Oh, sorry, Hubbali Bicycle Club. Okay, which is in Karnataka in 2019 January. 26th, that was the Republic Day. And so we were told, so basically we had to break the record of Bangladesh, where they had made, I'm not sure about the number, but they had 1196 cyclists riding in one line, without breaking. And for I think 4.2 kilometers they had done. And so they got the medal. We had to break that record by having 1235 cyclists riding in one line for 5 kilometers, having one cycle distance between all these cycles. Okay. And so I have to basically focus on the rear wheel of the cyclist who is before me. So now based on his cycle speed, my cycle speed has to be same. So now, since it's like a huge line of cyclists, we had drones roaming around over our heads to check if somebody's cheating or if somebody has fallen down. Because once fallen or once anything happens with your cycle, if the chain breaks, you are not supposed to get inside uh, the line. Okay, so
Okay.
that was one thing. And I remember we stood under that hot sun for at least 3 hours, 3 hours constant. Okay, and by the time it started, uh, it was proper hot. Okay, proper hot. However, yes, we had an abjugator from Guinness World Record Company, and we were successful in the second attempt. So yeah, that
That
was one thing.
Yeah, that is
Yes,
awesome. And
thank you.
awesome, awesome. And you must miss, yes, of course, cycling, but everything else, right? Going out and just meeting people and just spending time outside the house and things like that, right? Like before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I got used to cycling so much that, in fact, when I was working, I should I name the school?
You could. It's your call.
I can. I have no problem. So I was working with Akia schools. So there, I now since I stay in BTM, so it's like exactly some 2 to 2.5 kilometers away from my house. So I used my cycling in that. I started walking for that much of distance, which was okay for me. Okay, but the days I would go by cycling to the school, every single student from grade 9, 10, 11, 12, they'll be like, hey, we have a cycling ma'am coming inside the school. So that was one of the best moments that I have had, because nobody has given me that much love when these students would give, because all their teachers would come either on by their bikes, the scooties, or the actual motorcycles and the cars and stuff, or auto or something like that. But I was the only teacher, not teacher, but I was into the admissions, but they used to call us ma'am. So I was the only one who would come by cycle, and they would say, hey, we have a cycling ma'am coming.
Right.
That was the
Right.
most funny thing. And
Right.
in fact, I have gone for a cyclothon with these kids even. So that was the most amazing ones.
Nice. Nice.
Yes.
But one thing that I found really interesting about you staying at home and just not being able to go out was almost every day on your social media, I'll see you put up a new movie poster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Yes.
like, how is this woman finding so much time to watch movies? And some of these movies seem really interesting because I don't really remember, but maybe I would have watched some of them. But
Uh-huh.
talk to me a little bit about your love for movies and the arts in general.
I I love watching movies. This watching movies ka thing came not only because of Netflix or Prime. This basically came from when I was in Calcutta, I think in 2016. 2016, from Jan to June, I was on a sabbatical leave during my working years in Oak Ridge. Now, what exactly happened was, okay, to be honest, I was on a breakup thing. I was supposed to get married, but something happened and it did not work out. Something. I'm not getting into that. So that those 6 months were with me, and for that 6 months, uh, okay, in that 6 months, I got into content writing as well. Okay, that's how my social media, oh sorry, that's how I got into social media, that's how I got into content writing, blogging, Instagram, because I really had no idea about these things. Okay, those 6 months literally shaped my, uh, partly shaped my thought process and my knowledge and my love for movies, because that's when I started watching all, because I was depressed. Okay, so I wanted to do something to make myself busy, so I started all the movie, like watching movies on, those Romedy channel. There used to be this channel called Romedy Movies.
Yes.
then
Yes.
there's this then there's this channel called World Movies. World Movies was one of the best channels I've ever
Right.
watched content,
If
because
I'm not mistaken, that is BBC's channel, right?
that I don't know.
Okay,
That I
all
have
right.
no
I could
idea,
be
to be
wrong. I
very
could be wrong.
honest.
Yeah.
That I'm not. I didn't know. Okay,
Okay.
I don't know basically, but World Movies actually got me into knowing about the. It's just not about Bollywood. It's just not about Shah Rukh Khan. It's just not about, uh, you know, your Khans, or I don't want to name them. I did
Right.
anyhow,
That's
but
it.
there are so many other genres of movies. If you watch Afghanistani movies, if you watch Iranian movies, if you watch Korean ones, wow, there are like huge plethora. Like your whole life will be nothing. Your life will be nothing in front of these movies, because I mean, not nothing as in, it will be very less, it will be very short, because there are so many Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Afghanistani, Pakistani, then Irani movies, German, Zurkistan, so many. I mean, that's where uh, my love for movies came out. That's where my love for the movie content came out. Currently, I'm properly into war movies. I watch documentaries, I watch docu-series, things which had happened in our history, like, those the movies on Cleopatra, or the movies on Holocaust, like Schneider's List, and
Schindler's List.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, and apart from that, there's this another movie called uh, the Railway Man. Okay, done by Colin Firth. So many. I can't. Persian movies, yes. World Movies was my gateway to all these, varieties of content.
Right.
And apart from that, uh, okay, Star World, Star Movies, this and that, they were all there. But World Movies was one thing which actually grabbed my attention. So, whatever movie lists that you get to see on my WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, basically I want to know more about these, because there are people who have a lot of different kind of tastes for movies, and in fact, when I share mine, they also share theirs, and they also,
Okay.
but one thing is there, I don't really give any review of any movie.
Okay.
I properly can, but my point of view might be different from others' point of view, and I do not give my reviews. I do not read anybody's reviews. I
Right.
only see a trailer, even not the trailer also. I just get to see, like, what exactly the movie is all about, which they mention it on that IMDb, right? I don't
Correct.
even look at the rates also, because rating can just bias your readiness to watch this movie. And a
Yes.
director, the whole movie team, yeah, I mean, it goes a lot, it goes like tons of effort and time and money to build, to make a movie.
Right.
So for
Yeah.
me, it's very important. What I feel is, I give proper respect and importance to those movies which I like. It's not that मैं masala movie देखूं. I hate
Right.
masala movies, but
Right.
pictures, but movies which are made like, which has a subject, which has a meaningful meaning, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So I get a lot of things from what you said, but I get two things in specificity. The first thing
hmm,
is I like how you spoke about the Khans and Indian. I'll call it Bollywood films, but I
Bollywood,
like how
yeah.
even when you spoke about that, you spoke about it with respect, because even if
Yeah.
you're looking at it being a money making machine, and it's a business at the end of the day, and everyone needs to earn,
Exactly.
and that's one thing.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying it's a money making machine in a negative connotation. A
Hmm.
lot of those people do put a lot of hard work and a lot of time and effort into doing that as well, and
Yes.
they are creating content for their audience, and that's basically what you and I are doing as well. So that's
Exactly.
one side to it. But on the other side to it, I also like how you are exploring different cultures of the world through these movies, and in
Yeah.
doing so you're able to understand perspectives better, you're able to
Exactly.
recognize opinions better. And I think if people were to do that, maybe this world might just be a better place. And if movies is
Wow.
gonna be a way to do this, then maybe we should all watch more world movies.
Absolutely. I would, openly recommend people. I don't know if that channel is still there or not, but I keep looking for, those type of subjects on Netflix and Prime Videos or whatever I
Right,
have,
right, right,
the subscription. I try doing that because this is something your whole mind would change when you
right.
actually watch them. Your whole perspective towards something will properly change.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very interesting. And I will definitely talk about this. You have brought this up before in this conversation. And really quickly, I want to take you. So we spoke about cultures.
Yeah.
I want to take you to a place where you can talk about what an important role food plays in your life.
Oh, wow.
That's one way to do a segue, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Food. Food is my life. Just 1 second, there are kids going on.
1 second is over, by the
Okay.
way.
Yeah, they were looking at the video thing that I'm
Uh-huh.
doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
happens. Yes.
Yeah, so you can just cut it out, okay?
That's okay. I'm going to keep everything in, by the way. By the way,
Are you see?
just a side note, I'm going to play the entire thing in its entirety because I feel that the more organic and natural things are, the better it's going to be. And I think we should put our flaws on display as well. So just
Sure,
FYI.
I am
Yeah.
ready because I always want, because there's so many editings happening around
Yes.
across, like Instagram filters, ye filter, wo
Yes.
filter. Array
Yes.
something, keep something organic, baba. So hence I
Yes.
have decided, no, that's where my podcast comes in, but I will talk about it later on.
Definitely,
So yeah,
definitely. So yeah, go
my
ahead.
my another important aspect of my life is food. Yes, because I'm born in a Bengali family, just born in Calcutta, but brought up in South India and Orissa, and because of that, my whole life was around different cultures, different, varieties of people, varieties of food, and climate change, the weather change, because I have seen 50 degrees of summer days, and I have seen, uh, 2 degrees of winter days, and that is in one place that's called Sambalpur. Sambalpur in Orissa. I've stayed there for 8 years of my school days. Trust me, my brother, who used to be this hadda gadda, properly healthy person, because of the summer loo, he literally shrunk, absolutely shrunk. So I have seen a lot of changes in not world, I would say, but of my world, because of my dad's transferable job. So we were fortunate to move around with him to all the places that he got transferred to. Only after I completed my grade 12 from Bhubaneswar was when my dad got transferred again to Sikkim. And that's when we decided to go back to Calcutta. I mean, just move to Calcutta for my graduation. And that's how I stayed in Calcutta for 7 years. And then in 2014, I come to Bangalore, join Oak Ridge. I mean, literally get into a very new domain of the school industry. So that is how it is. However, coming back to food, yes, food is another part of my love, another part of my life. I'm a proper non vegetarian Bengali foodie person, and food is something which can make you remember memories, which can make you remember happiness, which can give you happiness. They say money can't give you happiness. I would say a little bit yes, because money does give you happiness, not properly, like not that you need to be greedy and stuff like that, no, but there are few things which money actually gives you a feel of a completeness, right? So yeah, I might be a foodie person. I do eat, I do taste, but I don't. Oh, 1 second. Oh God.
Is
Yeah,
everything okay?
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So these kids were running around my car and dum. Okay. So, uh, what was I saying? Yeah. So food is something that I love to eat, but I don't know how to make. I really hate getting into kitchen. To be honest, I just hate it. It has another history though. I would not like to talk about it, but yeah, kitchen is something I don't want. But I'm basically a survival sous chef. Seasonal survival sous chef.
Okay.
So if I have to make something out of survival, I can do it, and I do it really good because my mom has made me properly. Yeah, ha, ye bana do. That's it. I know that. But the way mom makes, with all her love and heart and mind and soul and body, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna make. I'm gonna get into YouTube. I'm gonna listen to the whole thing, the ingredients. That doesn't happen with me. Oh, you wanna have chicken curry? I'll make chicken curry for you just like that because I know what all things are there. I don't have to, kabhi kabar, at times I do check to get that taste, but I'm not that much into, oh, I'm gonna make food with my own hands. That doesn't happen with me. So yeah.
Right, right. So I personally know your relationship with food from the times we did go grab a bite after some of the times we went to one of those theater places. And
Yes.
yeah, I remember how you would so enthusiastically and with so much of love and care talk about certain dishes. But
Yeah.
the first time I do remember uh, my knowing of you and food together was at Oak Ridge itself
Yeah.
because believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Asmita over here was the daily taster to make sure that the quality of the food was on par. So I think Oak Ridge, among all the other duties that she had, knew exactly the right person to give this responsibility to make sure the quality of the
Yeah.
food is on par. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you used to
In
do this
fact,
every day, right?
yeah, that
Yeah.
because of that, I didn't have to make my breakfast, To be very honest, I never had to make any breakfast for that because I used to have it readily for myself for
Right,
the food tasting part.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which brings me to the next part of this entire segment and maybe get a little more serious than before. You and I were together at Oak Ridge International School, and even though you weren't in the classroom, I would say that you understand how the system works, how the education system works, and you've been part of education for a while now. So I just want you
Yes.
to talk a little bit about what is your understanding of education, our education system, and tell a little bit about what was it like when you were growing up as a student, and now how do you see it in the industry?
I would actually talk about from the parents' point of view. Okay.
Okay.
So, what I have seen is I have studied in St. Joseph's Convent Higher Secondary School in Sambalpur, which was one of the famous and, yeah, like, named schools in. It's been like, years and years of people graduating from that school, and getting an admission over there was like a huge achievement. Okay.
Right. Right.
And back then, like how we get this midterm admissions just like that, it wasn't the all year round admission back then. It was just during that few months of the admission time. That's it, right? In
Right.
I think you would also agree to that, like how we
Yes.
used to have our times during our school days. Now,
Yes.
coming back to the studies, I have studied ICSE curriculum, and I have studied CBSE curriculum. The school that I've worked with was properly into IB curriculum, so which I didn't really have any knowledge about. Okay, it was when I got to know about Oak Ridge International School, and they were looking for somebody for the parent relations. That's when I step into it, and that's how I got into this profile. That's how I got into Oak Ridge. In fact, there's a stupid fact I would like to tell you what I did, because back then I was in Calcutta in 2014, and I started thinking, what is an international school? A school is a school. For a layman person like me, who never really had any thought of getting into a school, was thinking, what is this concept of international school? That's in one of my podcasts, I was talking to Tamir. There I spoke that, in fact, I googled, asking ki, uh, Oak Ridge International School fraud, just to see if it was real or fake.
And your
But
answer was?
it was not. They
It
literally
was not
showed
fraud,
the whole,
obviously.
no. They
Yes, yes,
literally
it's
showed the
very
whole
real.
details. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. I mean, they have, in fact, they still have five huge campuses across India. Two in Hyderabad, one in Mohali, one in Vishakhapatnam, which is also a residential school, and one in Bangalore. And
Yeah.
apart from that, they had their sister concern OI Preschools, which is now been taken over by First Cry Intellitalks, is what I know.
Right.
So yeah, it's like a huge chain. But Bangalore did not. Bangalore, I think, was just 2012 born campus, and I joined there in 2014. So I saw Oak Ridge blooming, because I stayed there for 4 years. I
Right.
saw how from a startup kind of a school, you know, bloomed to be a huge international school. But yes, international baccalaureate thing is what I got to understand later on, when I got friends with the teachers. That's when they started making me understand that whatever we have studied is the same thing, just that the methodology is so different, the learning strategies are so different, that you don't really feel like you are, literally, by hearting the whole paragraph. They are being structured in a manner that it is basically pointed wise, and there are few themes, there are few, this IB learner profiles, where and in a very simple activity based learning is what IB has been designed. And a lot of people do find it IB is too expensive, it's too costly, and they have this notion that IB is for those students who want to go outside and study. It's not. It's absolutely not. I might not have a huge degree in education, but what I have learned from the experience of being in Oak Ridge International School for those 4 years is that IB is something which breaks a whole paragraph into 5 or 10 different pointers, making you understand, making you work on it so that you understand the basics. So where in CB, okay, again, I'm not against any curriculum. I am from CBSE and ICSE, and I was happy with it. I'm still happy with it. But I love the concept of IB because they have properly segregated, the stuff in a very simple manner where back in our days, teachers used to come up with their notes. They would dictate us the notes and we would keep writing it. Now, here in IB, what I have seen is the kids are being asked to do a research on them, and they would present it to the whole class. What it does is your public speaking improves drastically. Okay, even if a child is a new person in that class, and he's facing a bit of a problem, there are group studies done. There are those activities are done where from that one group, one person will be the representative, and then for the other activity, another person from the same group becomes the leader to or the representative for that same group, for the same class. So this basically segregates and in fact gives, individual attention is giving in a very articulate manner. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, because you are someone who's very close to the education industry in Bangalore. uh, Being inside the class, you know how the documentation is done, you know how the curriculum is designed. Correct me if I'm wrong anywhere.
No, I completely agree with you. I was teaching the IB curriculum when I was in Oak Ridge. Currently, I am with Oasis, and they have the Cambridge curriculum. We are not particularly doing Cambridge drama right now, but a lot of the things that I did learn from the IB method is what I am bringing into the classroom right now, both in where I'm currently working and in my own classes as well. But at the same time, while we are looking at one specific curriculum and recognizing the benefits of it, is multiple curriculums in the country right now. And you said you did CBSE, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Yeah,
CBSE and ICSE. Yeah.
CBSE and ICSE. So I did ICSE and the state syllabus. So
Acha.
what I want to ask you is, uh, you understand how IB works, having worked in a school that offers the curriculum.
I
So
might
I want
not I might not know the integrities, but I know the bird's view of IB.
right,
Yeah.
right. So from that perspective, also from the perspective of someone who is in the admin side of it, who runs the school from the back end, right? So
Right.
what do you think about this? Not talking about IB, but education in a broad manner in comparison to what was it like when you were a student in school?
Could you please repeat that again? The
Yeah,
kids were going.
yeah, no worries, no worries. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you think, as someone in the back end of running a school, not necessarily in the classroom, what do you think of education broadly, not specifically only about IB, broadly now when compared to when you were in the classroom as a student?
Education industry has changed. In fact, education became an industry, right? Because
Right.
for us, school was only way where you can get the education. But now, as you see, as the days pass by, as years go on, and as we all age, we see different types of education coming. You will get to see somewhere Finland way of learning. You will get to see somewhere, um, uh, Japanese way of learning. Montessori. Chalo, Montessori was there a bit later. I mean, bit
Earlier.
beforehand as
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
but KG was always there because I know KG is the only thing. Here, when I joined in school, that's how I get to know that there's something called PYP. That's primary years program. There's something called Montessori. So, in fact, apart from school, as I was saying about, education industry, we have online education, we have digital education, we have in institutes where they provide tutorials, where they provide coding, where they provide. So, a, a child of my age, when I was in grade one, I only knew how to do A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, or something like that, or more than that maybe. I don't really remember. But now at this timeline, a grade one will know how to use a computer, how to use a tab, how to exactly. In fact, there are so many children who know how to how to code, okay, how to paint in a digital 3D platform, which we never knew, which we never really knew. They know how to I mean, there are so many changes. It's like you will see a whole lot of a different world out there right now in
Right.
education
Right.
industry. But the
Right.
only thing which has been constant is uh, the parent support. Parents are the biggest support a child can have.
Right.
Even when there was nothing back then, and there's this huge things around us. In fact, parents have become much more indulgent or involved into their children's lifestyle or children's lives, because back then I only knew my mom teaching me Hindi. I only knew my dad teaching me physics and chemistry. Sorry, physics and maths. Okay. And apart from that, I used to play. I used to play with my friends outside. But right now, parents have become more involved because, yeah, there are few things which you can't really ignore, like social media. The phones have come to the child's hands, in such a tender age. Can't really ignore, can't really be in denial because of the pandemic, because of the whole digitalization in education industry. Not that I'm against, but I'm not completely for it as well. So it's a whole new challenge. In fact, I get scared when I see parents, like, I mean, getting into the whole questionnaire, and I so feel them, because when I was into admissions, um, I try to understand from a parent's point of view, not from the school's point of view. Because
Right.
this is one thing which I have learned, is that a parent will only understand or take admission in your school or wherever you're working is when you start making them see their children's future from their I mean, from your own voice, in front of their eyes. That's when they will understand कि this school will help my child go places.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Right.
there's a bit of a
No, no, that's perfectly fine. The sound is clear and everything. But I just want to pick up something that you said when you said the world is changing.
yeah.
And I think maybe it's changing for the better or it's changing for the worse. I'm not entirely sure at this point, because you're talking about digitalization and you're talking about the pros and cons of those things. But I would say that to a large extent, perhaps we need to change as well. And we need to change to
Yes.
adapt to the changes that are happening. And
Absolutely.
on that note, I actually want you to, if you were to give a message to the parents, what would it be? And if you were to give a message to students, if those are listening or whoever's watching to this, to kids, what would it be? But I don't want you to tell that to me right now. You can tell that to me a little later, because here is a surprise rapid fire round that I have for you, which is a few questions that I need you to answer like that.
Oh my God,
I
what all
know,
you make me
right?
do?
I know. Okay, really fast. You can choose to answer it in one word or a few words if necessary. And if you say so, you can choose to explain your answer as well, because some of them may need an explanation. But whatever you say goes. And if you don't want to answer a certain question, you can just say skip. Are you
Okay,
ready?
sure, sure,
Okay.
sure, done.
If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
Dog.
Why?
Because I lost my dog. I lost my pup, Whiskey. And dogs are the best thing that can ever happen to a human, because this has changed me. It has gotten me my motherly instincts. So yeah,
Right.
dog
Awesome.
is the
Cool.
one.
What is one of the things that you would put on your bucket list?
As in anything.
Anything, absolutely anything.
Okay, food. Oh, any one thing did you say?
Any one thing. What is one of the things?
Okay, a successful company for myself,
Sorry?
for my THs. The
Okay.
Human Spices,
Right.
being a very successful and a friendly company for everybody, for all the
Awesome.
humans. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Who do you admire the most?
I admire my mom. I admire Priyanka Chopra, Jonas, uh, and myself a bit.
All right.
To
Okay,
come
cool.
all to come so long, to come, this long way. Yeah.
All right. If a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be? Who would play your character?
Me myself. I
Okay.
can I cannot see anybody playing me. I am the
Fair
only
enough.
person.
Fair
Yes.
enough. And what genre would it be?
The genre would be properly like organic, everything real, no editing, nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
No roman
So,
all romantic, scientific, everything including. Yeah.
all right. So you're saying it would be borderline documentary style, is it?
Absolutely. Yes, documentary is the
Awesome.
word. Correct.
Awesome. Okay, if you could be any flavor of ice cream, what ice cream would you be and why?
Butterscotch, because
Why?
it has butter and it has the scotchy thing, so it makes you, it's just not the creamy thing. You have something to bite as well.
Right, right. Okay. Uh, who is your favorite cartoon character and why?
Shinchan. Shinchan,
Why?
because he's the most loving kid I have ever seen. Even if it is a cartoon, but then the real story says like he was very notorious. And the way he would make the whole environment light and friendly and happy, and with his witty stuff. So Shinchan it is.
Okay. Are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a morning person. Yeah.
Beautiful. If you could trade lives with anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
No, I don't want to trade my life with anybody, because
Okay.
I love my life. I have seen a lot of ups and downs. I've seen a lot of sunsets and sunshines, and I want it to be mine itself. I don't want to trade mine, because what I have seen, what I have been like, I know nobody can ever act or be in that space.
Awesome. What is the one thing you're most afraid of?
I'm afraid of losing my people. I'm afraid of losing myself. I'm afraid of getting into that, deep down depression, or the existential crisis that I get at times. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. And the last question is, have you ever tried to do something you know you would be really bad at, and what was it?
Oh, cooking, of course. No, but no,
Okay.
but cooking I know how to do. Uh, um, Oh yeah. Driving. Yes, driving. Yeah. So I'm sitting in the car. I don't know how to drive. I have applied for my LLNDL. I have only driven properly with confidence when somebody who knows how to drive sits beside me. Yeah, driving.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I think having you answer all these questions leads us into the next segment of this little conversation, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, by the way, which is you telling me a little bit about what you do in the space of the human spices.
Okay, so coming to the human spices thing, human spices was born. Okay, the full name is the human spices, which was born in 2018, the same time when my cycling was born. My love for cycling was born, and that was the time when I actually thought of. I was a too much into content writing and reading and listening to music and people around and watching TEDx, things and stuff. And that's when I realized that there are so many people who needs to be spoken about or who needs to be heard of, because um, so there are so many celebrities whose um, interviews keep coming and they keep repeating themselves itself. Because I mean, you know what I realize is that I wanted people, like ordinary people around me, talk about themselves, because every person has their own perspective. Every person has their own journey. Every person has their own uh, you know point of views, right? Points
Right.
of view, sorry. So with that, having said that, I decided to come up with this blog which would journal or feature people from all the walks of life, from any profession actually, or um, from any profession that they have chosen, not going with the same crowd, or knowing or not going with the same people, like engineer, doctor, this and that, which the society thinks that, oh, these are the only uh, professions that will make you happy and settle. But there are people who are into change making, who are into music, who are into performing arts, who are into dance, who are into expression. So many things are there out there, right? So I started this journey from 2018, April 4th, and that's how the whole thing started. However, 2020, that is last year, same time, I launched the Human Spices podcast. Podcast was basically for so my concept for the podcast was mainly to conversate with my people. I wanted to try it out with my friends. Trust me, like just talking about themselves, and talking about how they were 10 years ago. Okay, trust me, people I knew for so long time, for so many years, when they started talking about themselves in exact raw material, I literally was in awe, because I never knew them so much, so clearly. And that's how I decided to continue in this year, relaunching it, not relaunching, basically coming up with season 2. And this will be, since we are in 2021, so this year's will be back in 2011. So the season 2 is on its way. It's been worked out, it's been worked upon, and yeah, I hope it becomes a hit. And there's another thing that I have launched. It's a small initiative. It's called the Human Spices Connects, that basically helps people around who have lost their job since last year, and there are people who are still looking for one. So with this THS Connects, I'm trying to connect people with the job opportunities from wherever I get. I make a poster and I share it with my people, and they can share it with their people, and then they can directly contact the company with the email address which I mentioned over there, which is of the companies. So there's no chance of uh, or the consulting firms coming in between, asking them for money for the jobs thing. So this is something that I can do, but beyond that I can't really say how genuine the job requirement is, because whatever I get from the company's email address, I look for that. That's when I go ahead with this part.
Awesome.
Let me know
And
if
can you
it was
tell me a
okay.
little bit? Can you tell me a little bit more about the blog as well?
Yeah, so as I was saying about the blog that I started, that was only, it was about, so supposing there's this musician and and I want him to talk about his life journey, how he started getting into music, how he got into the genre that he was looking for, how he really decided to get into music, and why. So I'll just share one incident where I got in touch with this lady. She's basically from Switzerland, Zurich, and she used to stay beside this Indian family there itself. This Indian lady, I mean the Indian woman, used to dance Bharatanatyam over there. Now, this lady got so involved and so encouraged with that. She literally wanted to learn Bharatanatyam. She every day went to her house and she would look at her, and that's when this Indian lady started teaching her, and that's how she got into Bharatanatyam. She in fact moved to India, stayed in Chennai, and learned Bharatanatyam. Yeah, she talks about her journey, like how, this is one thing where I would like to say that, where we people used to think that, whenever we would see this one foreigner wearing the Bharatanatyam traditional dance outfit and dancing, on the stage, we go in awe. We literally go crazy. We are like, yay, wow, she looks beautiful. A foreigner dancing in our traditional dance. But do you really know what exactly they go through behind that? Because uh, this lady exactly said that the I mean, I don't know if I should talk about it, but they don't really get proper opportunities, It is because of their white skin. It is because that they don't belong to this soil, and hence
Right,
they don't get proper opportunities for that.
right,
So this was one of the eye-opening facts that I got to know about,
right.
you know,
Right.
about
And
them.
it's very interesting that you say this because we normally hear of this being the other way around. And
Exactly.
I would love to I would love to have this conversation with you, but have you had this conversation? Is the story up on your blog or anything like that?
Yeah, as in I didn't get your question.
Did you have this person on your podcast or is this
Yeah,
person's story?
not on the podcast, but in the blog she is there. Yeah.
Okay. So if people have to go and find this, find your blog or find the podcast, what do they have to do?
So, the name, the Human Spices, if they look on for on Google, they will get to see a lot of pages are being made on that. We are present everywhere. I have done my homework 3 years back, and I have done my homework for the podcast as well last year, and I'm
Right.
doing my homework for the THS Connects as well. But yes, if you have to look for the THS blog, then it is thehumanspices.wordpress.com, and we are there on Facebook as The Human Spices, on Instagram the same handle, The Human Spices, Twitter also the same handle, The Human Spices. For the THS, for the Human Spices podcast, we are there on Spotify with the same name, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and basically all the known audio platforms. And
All right.
the THS Connects is only for the time being is on Instagram as THS Connects, and I have created one group in Facebook as THS Connects and one group in LinkedIn with the same name. So that basically these groups are making for people to connect with recruiters and the job, posts, whatever
Right.
we get. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So you're pretty much, excuse me, you're pretty much spread out in different places, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Oh, I'm there. So so they all can get in touch with me via THS as well. Or if they directly want to connect with me, I'm there on Facebook. It's called the great legendary Asmita Das, and there will be a funny, stupid profile picture of mine, which they should get to know. And no, actually, okay, honestly, there will be a mention of founder The Human Spices. That will be me on Facebook. Instagram, yes, asmita.it.is is. So asmita.it.it
A-
is, yeah.
And what do you call yourself on Instagram, Asmita?
The same ID,
Are you
Asmita
sure?
dot.
Don't you call yourself the Entu Cutlet?
Oh, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Asmita
yeah.
the N2 cutlet. Okay, you did your
Yes,
homework, man.
I did my homework, and based on this conversation, you must realize that Asmita is an Entu cutlet as well. And for those of you who weren't able to catch the handles or the links, if you're watching this on YouTube, we will link it down in the description, or otherwise, we'll put up on Spotify and in the description for the podcast and any other listening or audio platform that you are listening to this from. And finally, Asmita, at the very end of this conversation, I would like to ask you, if you were to give a message to parents today, what would you say? And if you were to give a message to the kids today, what would you say?
My message to the parents would be, just be with your children. You are the model. Yes, there are I mean, it can be a bit stressful as well, because you just can't be in the best of your version all the time, but just be vulnerable with your children. It's no harm. They should also know what exactly you are going through as a parent, because the more the understanding, the more transparency there is, the more uh, the more close you will have your children to be by your side, because you can't really have this strict face all the time. You can't really have this fluid face all the time. You have to be as organic as you can be. So just be there with your children. And children, be with your parents, because they have seen what you have not seen. They have experienced what you guys have not experienced. So whenever they say something, it will always be for your own good, because your parents are yours and they will only think about you, not about others kids. And I am not a parent, but being with my parents for almost half of my life, I have seen, oh, okay, not exactly half of my life, but
Yeah,
three
you don't know
decades
that yet.
Yeah, exactly. So for 3 decades I have been with them, and as I age, I've seen a whole lot of difference in them. I have seen difference in myself being around them, because uh, things change, people will change, they will also change, but the time that you spend with them will be the most valuable ones. So don't go for the stars, you know, thinking that the moon will always be there. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. Wow, that's a
Yeah.
huge one.
Yes, yes, and very well put as well. And I
Yeah,
think that is the perfect way to end this podcast because you have
thank you.
inspired me
Oh
to
my
look
god.
at life differently, to look at things from a different perspective, to try new things. And I think the first thing I'm going to do after I end this conversation is based on what you ended it with. I will go out and just take some time to look at the moon and the stars.
Oh my
So,
god.
thank you so much once again, Asmita. It was an
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure. And I hope
Me
we
too.
can do this again sometime and maybe even meet and hang out with each other once things open
Yeah,
up
this
more.
COVID. I hate
Yeah,
COVID.
it's been
But I
forever,
love
I know.
lockdowns.
Yes. Yes, yes. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Thank you so
thank you
much
so much,
again,
Asmita.
Jeremy.